Have you ever found yourself in a relationship with someone who always seems to make everything about them? Someone who constantly needs validation, refuses to take responsibility for their actions, and somehow, despite all their flaws, you're the one apologizing? If this sounds familiar, you may have encountered a narcissist. Now picture this. They're not only playing games with your emotions, but they're also convinced they're the ones who are always right. In this article, we'll dive deep into the mind of a narcissist to understand why they can't let go of their behavior, even when it's clear they're the ones causing the problems. If you've ever wondered why narcissists act the way they do, stick around. We're going to break it all down for you. Before we dive deeper into the topic, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with anyone who might find it helpful. Narcissism is not just a buzzword. It's a complex and harmful personality trait that can significantly impact relationships. In this video, we'll explore why narcissists have such a hard time letting go, even when they're clearly the ones causing the problems. Picture this. You find yourself trapped in a cycle with someone who constantly craves attention, affirmation, and admiration. At first, they might appear charming and likable, but as time goes on, you start noticing cracks in their perfect image. Narcissists are master manipulators, using tactics such as playing the victim when it benefits them, or attacking when they feel threatened. The emotional roller coaster can leave you feeling drained and confused. Narcissists thrive on these games, but the reality is, they can't let go of these behaviors. Why? Because for them, these manipulative games are a way to protect their fragile ego. A narcissist's need for validation stems from their fragile self-esteem, even though they may come across as overconfident or self-centered. Deep down, their self-worth is shaky, and they depend on others for validation to feel better about themselves. They lack a strong internal sense of self, so they rely on external sources to feel important. When they don't receive the attention or affirmation they crave, that's when the manipulative tactics come into play. They'll twist situations, gaslight, and shift blame to make you feel responsible for their issues. And when that doesn't work, they may resort to tactics like the silent treatment or emotional withdrawal to regain control. The narcissist's need for constant validation is driven by their fear of feeling insignificant. They can't tolerate the idea of being ignored or not being the center of attention. This is why they'll go to great lengths to ensure that they remain in control of the narrative, even at the expense of others. They thrive on creating confusion because it gives them the upper hand. As long as they can keep you guessing, they maintain power over the situation. This constant need for control is exhausting and can leave you questioning your own reality. Narcissists often employ tactics like emotional manipulation to make you doubt your own perception of events. They're experts at making you feel guilty or responsible for their problems, even when they're the ones causing the issues. This emotional manipulation creates an environment where you feel compelled to fix things, even though you're not the one who needs to change. It's a cycle that can be difficult to break free from because, as long as they can keep you off balance, they maintain the upper hand. So why is it so hard for narcissists to let go? The short answer is that their need for control and validation is tied to their fragile sense of self. Their identity is built on how others perceive them, and without that external affirmation, they feel lost. That's why they continue to engage in manipulative behavior, even when it harms their relationships. For a narcissist, letting go isn't an option, because doing so would mean facing their own insecurities, something they're unwilling to confront. Narcissists are masters at playing the long game, and often, they don't even realize how deeply their actions hurt others. To them, it's not about you, the relationship, or even love. It's about maintaining their sense of superiority. This is why they often refuse to take responsibility for their actions. They can't accept that they might be the problem, because doing so would require them to confront their own insecurities. Instead, they deflect, project, and manipulate situations to avoid any accountability. Let's talk about the love bombing phase that many narcissists use to reel people in. It's a pattern where they shower their target with attention, affection, and promises, making you feel like you're the most important person in their life. But this is just the first stage of the game. After they've secured their target, they start to pull back, creating emotional distance. It's a calculated move to keep you wanting more. This is how they maintain control. By creating emotional highs and lows, keeping you in a state of uncertainty, and ensuring that you're always trying to get back to the high point of affection they initially gave you. The real problem comes when you start to recognize the toxic pattern and begin to distance yourself. Narcissists can't let go of the game because in their eyes, losing control is a threat to their fragile ego. They won't allow themselves to appear weak or vulnerable, and they'll do whatever it takes to keep you hooked. They might try to manipulate your emotions, gaslight you into questioning your perception of reality, or make you feel guilty for wanting to break free. The worst part? They'll convince themselves that they are justified in doing this. In their minds, it's not their fault, it's yours. The narcissist is never truly the problem. They always have an excuse for their behavior. What you need to understand is that narcissists are not playing these games because they're malicious. They're playing them because it's the only way they know how to protect themselves. Their behavior is rooted in deep-seated insecurities and a constant need for validation. They need to be admired, adored, and seen as superior, even if it comes at the expense of others. When their facade cracks, they will go to great lengths to protect it, even if it means playing emotional games with you. And because they cannot or will not take responsibility for their actions, they will keep the cycle going as long as they can. One of the reasons narcissists can't let go, even when they're clearly in the wrong, is because their self-esteem is based on how others perceive them. They can't face the possibility that they might not be perfect, that they might not be the center of attention, or worse, that they might not be as valuable as they want to believe. The games they play are a way to preserve that idealized version of themselves. And in doing so, they create a toxic environment where nothing is ever truly resolved. They keep you stuck in a cycle of emotional highs and lows, making you feel as if you can't live without them, even though you know deep down they're not healthy for you. So why can't they let go? Because they don't have the emotional tools to process their insecurities or to handle rejection or failure in a healthy way. Letting go means confronting these deep issues, and narcissists would rather continue playing games than face the reality of their emotional fragility. Their narcissism isn't just a character flaw, it's a defense mechanism designed to protect them from the pain of vulnerability. At the end of the day, narcissists will keep playing their games because they can't afford to let go of their constructed reality. Their need for validation and superiority is so strong that they'll do anything to keep it intact. And as long as you continue to engage with them, they'll keep you caught in their web. But here's the kicker. The moment you stop playing the game, the narcissist loses their power over you. That's when they can no longer control the narrative, and that's when they'll either try to reel you back in or completely discard you, depending on how much value you still hold in their eyes. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch about this important topic. Narcissism can be incredibly difficult to navigate, especially when you're emotionally invested in the relationship. But understanding why narcissists play games and why they can't let go is the first step in breaking free from their grip. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it with anyone who might need to hear this. Stay strong, set boundaries, and remember, you deserve to be in a relationship where mutual respect and empathy are the foundation. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship with someone who always seems to make everything about them? Someone who constantly needs validation, refuses to take responsibility for their actions, and somehow, despite all their flaws, you're the one apologizing? If this sounds familiar, you may have encountered a narcissist. Now picture this.